Loyalty is a word we throw around a lot, but how many people live it out? Think about it. Have you ever met someone that showed up for you when it mattered the most? Someone who made sacrifices, traveled miles, stood for you in the most crucial moments of your life, even when you least expect it. Sadly, loyalty is rare, and when we see it, we should cherish it. Today I want to share two stories with you, one from the Bible and the other from a real life experience that will make you think of the value of loyalty. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're seeing my face for the first time, you're welcome. I appreciate you. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today we are going to be starting with the story of someone in the Bible who was mentioned briefly. A story is not always dwelt upon because he wasn't a major character, but I'm going to be bringing out salient points from his short-lived life. Please stay with me, don't go away. So now let's go back in time to a man named Uriah. I'm going to be dropping the Bible scriptures where his story was mentioned on this video. You can go ahead and read up about him. You can also gather some more lessons from his short-lived life. Uriah was a soldier in David's army. He was loyal, he was dedicated, and he does not allow distractions to toy with him in carrying out his tasks, dedicated to safeguarding his nation. Now, Uriah's story is a story that carries a lot of lessons on loyalty and selflessness. This was a man who was dedicated to the betterment of a larger picture. He was dedicated to safeguarding his nation, his territory, rather than enjoying pleasures, self-pleasures for a season. Now, while the man was at war, King David, in all his affluence and power, did something unthinkable. He did something that was wrong. He took Uriah's wife and slept with her, and she became pregnant. Now, that was an abominable act for a king to do. Having committed this act, the next thing he was going to do was to find out how to cover up his sin. So he tried to manipulate Uriah. He ordered that they return him from the battlefront where he was. He asked him to go home to be with his wife. He wanted him to maybe sleep with his wife, and when the stomach starts growing and the child is born, everybody will assume that child was the husband's child. But Uriah would have none of that. He didn't know what had happened, but Uriah had a different mindset. He was more concerned about his comrades at the battlefield. He was more concerned about the people they were fighting. He felt the need to be with them rather than go home and enjoy pleasure with his wife. That was the least thing he had on mind. Loyalty, even when no one is watching. Dedication, even when it cost him everything. Nobody needed to know that Uriah went home to sleep with his wife. After all, the king summoned him from the battlefield. He didn't make up an excuse and leave the battlefield to run away from the war. It was the king that called him. It was the same king that told him to go home and be with his wife. But Uriah was more concerned. His dedication was not for eye service. His dedication was not for a personal gain. He was more concerned about his commitment. He was more concerned about his comrades, like I said earlier. And so he would not go home to be with his wife. There was nothing the king did not do to make him go. The king made him drunk so that he would forget himself and find his way home. But he decided to stay outside the palace with the servants of the king. And even when the king thought, oh, he will go home the next day, he never went. And so the king decided to send him back to the battlefront to get him killed. So he was loyal and dedicated even unto death. He didn't allow distractions. He didn't allow the pleasures of the world for a season. Now, this story can be likened to our race here on earth. In this world running race, how devoted are we to the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ? How are we living our lives? Are we living it to please God? Or are we just taking each day as it comes? Are we being careless with our lives? Are we devoted and dedicated to Jesus Christ? Or do we follow the crowd? The popular thing is what we align with. I just want us to have a rethink today and make our ways right with God. Now you might be thinking, that's the tragic story of Uriah. What does it have to do with me? I want to let you know that there are lots of Uriahs around us today. People who go the extra miles for the ones they love. People who sacrifice their time, their money, their energy to exhibit the love they have for us. I recently thought about someone I know, someone who did not have to, but they traveled several miles to be at an event of someone they love. When I think about that selfless sacrifice, several kilometers, a journey that lasted for like 12 hours or more, and because of the selflessness, because they wanted to make this sacrifice to show their love, they went through the discomfort this would have cost them. No excuse, no hesitation, just pure dedication. They went to that extent to just exhibit the love that they have for this person. This is not to talk about the many other times they stood in the face of adversity, in the face of storms. They stood to encourage, they stood to support. They gave their time and their money to ensure the comfort of their loved one. I remember one time in my life, I had just graduated from the university and I completed youth service, and we're all in the quest to search for a job. You know, we'll see adverts here and there and just inform our loved ones and friends, oh, there's an advert here, there's an advert there, let's apply. Who knows, we might be lucky and all of that. There are certain class of people who will hold this information. They don't want you to know that there's a vacancy. If they can hide it, they will. You know, because it's like telling you is reducing their chances. But I have this friend. What she did amazed me at that period. She got an invite for an interview for a commercial organization. It was a big organization. And she was interviewed. She was invited. She already had her invitation to go for an aptitude test. And you know what she did? She came to where I was. I was managing in an office. I was doing something small at that time. And then she came by and she was like, I am going for this interview. This aptitude test in so location not far from your office. Let's go together. I was like, I wasn't invited. What makes you think they would allow me, gate crash? And she was like, let's go. We'll just try. Who knows, they might let you in. It will amaze you that I was allowed to do the test even without an invitation. I passed the aptitude test. Why she didn't make it? And I began to wonder, this is selflessness, this is loyalty, this is an exhibition of pure love. And I did not take that single act for granted. I placed her in a special place in my life because of that singular act that she did. So here's my challenge to you. Who has been the Uriah in your life? Who has shown you loyalty, stood by you when all odds, even when all odds added up against you, when everybody ran away, helter-skelter? Who stood? Who is that Uriah that you have? In time to appreciate them. Have you sent an appreciation message to say thank you? Have you celebrated them? What have you done to show that you appreciated all what they have done for you? And on the flip side, are you an Uriah to someone else? Or are you only present when it's convenient? Loyalty is rare. If you find it, honor it. And if you have it within you, please give it. The life is too short. Let's learn to celebrate people when they are alive. Not when they are gone, we start writing all epistles and all sorts of stories about them. So I've come to the end of this video. This video is dedicated to someone close to me, someone close to my family who has passed on to the beyond. I want to say that her passing was really touching. It hit me differently, and I decided to share this video. Please, I want you to just share, press the notification bell, subscribe to this channel, and drop your comment. Thank you, and bye for now.